As winter transitions into spring, it's time to turn our attention to what many would consider to be the event of the year, that is RetroFest, here at Steam, on the 30th and 31st of May. Now, exhibitors from all over the UK and beyond will be donning their tablecloths and pointing their tables towards Albuquerque and displaying their prized possessions in a display that many would consider to be simply a pile of junk. So why is it then that otherwise perfectly normal people would come and spend the weekend in an old engine shed to passionately tell stories that are 30, 40, 50 years old about the possessions they own? Well, of course, for many, they want to make sure the history of these things is not lost. But for others, I think they're probably just a little bit sad. For many visitors, the journey to Steam is a well-trodden path because it houses the Great Western Railway Museum. But for one weekend each year, old platforms are joined by old platforms, trains are augmented with brains, and the complex signalling systems of the railway network are simplified for use by exhibitors. So for those of you who are planning to make the journey, let's have a look at what will be waiting for you. There'll be plenty of exhibitors, of course, and many of them will be chasing the coveted awards. Here's last year's winner of Best Supported Table. Andy Toon will once again be leading prayers to the retro gods for the continued supply of electricity. And here's an exhibit that continues to multiply every year. And of course, essential to any good event, and probably the most important ingredient of all, the cafe. Now, attending an event like this for the first time can be quite intimidating for the first-time visitor, so I thought I would mention a few things that you may find helpful. Now, an approach that works really well is to walk up to a stand you like the look of, look at the strangest thing you can see. Now, this will usually be the exhibitor, and generally that's all that's needed to get a conversation going. Now, one thing I would say is that if you don't feel comfortable interrupting somebody when they're in full flow, I would make sure you go to the toilet first, because you could be there for some time. Another useful tip is to make sure you look underneath the exhibitor's table. It's amazing what treasures you can find there. Here's Keith from the Museum of Computing, for example. Of course, you may meet famous people whilst you're visiting. I mean, Tom Cruise nearly came last year, but we do have the Red Arrows. It's probably worth mentioning that an event like this does tend to attract one or two odd characters. Now, they tend to be grey-haired old men with beards, and they're affectionately known as Weirdy Beardies. I'll be there too. RetroFest is organised by Short Circuit. Now, Short Circuit are fundamentally hobbyists, so this is an event that's organised by hobbyists for hobbyists and anybody else who's interested. As a result, the tickets are as cheap as Chinese chips and tend to sell out quite quickly, so I would consider getting your tickets well before the event. The primary aim of the organisers is for visitors and exhibitors to have a good time, whilst at the same time hoping they might break even. To aid in this regard, it's good etiquette to buy at least one item of merchandise, perhaps a t-shirt or an action figure. Personally, I like the mugs. I have a mug from every RetroFest so far, and I'm looking to add to my collection. So there we are, and I hope that's helped, and maybe we'll see you there on the 30th or the 31st of May. Now, based on previous events, I think the event's going to be monumental. Or maybe just mental.